To buckle down to a discussion with our panelists here, looking at confluence of issues that have been affecting the political landscape. Of course, we've been doggedly following what is happening within the ODM party. Everyone thinking that there is such an existential threat right now that we have the demise of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. They had a very crucial meeting on Monday, and we should be getting an update of that particular meeting from Dr. James Nyikal as well, and just telling us what is the way forward. And as far as the party is concerned, will there be an implosion or there will be inter-party democracy? That is what is happening currently. Also, we want to just focus on a bit of what is in the news lately regarding the oppressive computer misuse laws, and we have clergies who have also come out in force to roundly condemn this particular computer laws. We have with us as well, this is Bernard Kituru, who is a member of Parliament for Nandi Hills. He is also a member of the Communications, Information and Innovation Committee at the National Assembly. He was back dab in the middle in crafting this particular laws. So is there a misunderstanding on it or not? We have also with us Dr. Makali Mulu, who will tell us also more on what is happening within the Wiper Party lately. I know November is just around the corner. They are rebranding, right? And it is the Wiper, it eludes my memory.
Wiper Patriotic Front.
Patriotic Front, yes. Wiper Patriotic Front, yes. From a Wiper Party to the Wiper Patriotic Front, he shall be telling us more about that. But before we even buckle down there, you've seen the news item we've had this evening, and we are heading towards the political high-octane season, where we have the Cabinet Secretaries also getting on the podium, and we've seen Cabinet Secretary of Health, SIGNET Duale, roundly saying that, you know, they have every right to also be on the political platforms and they're not in violation of any law. And he's quoted the conflict of interest bill, saying there is no violation of that particular interest. In fact, in that particular interest, the conflict of interest act right now, there is provision for them to go and be involved in politics. Is this really flying in the face of what we have as far as we know it from before, even with the Leadership and Integrity Act? We have also the Public Officers and the Ethics Act, isn't it? That really roundly condemns people who are involved in the upper reaches of government, and they are not politicians to be involved in politics. Let's just begin with you, Dr. Makali Mulu. What do you think about that statement that he said? Are they not really in violation of the law? We have Babu Owino, who's moved to the court. We have also the Law Society. They've moved to challenge the Cabinet Secretaries.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dibal. And we appreciate that you're hosting us this evening to discuss a number of issues which are important to Kenyans. I think where you are starting is a good point to start. The issue of Cabinet Secretary is engaging in politics. I think it's something you can debate, because one of the key requirements for you to be appointed a Cabinet Secretary is that if you are holding any political position in a political party, any position in a political party, you actually resign before you even come for the vetting. So I don't know what would be the interpretation of CS Duale when we say that you must resign before you become a CS. The law is quoting is an act of parliament. And I think the Constitution, I was trying to see whether I can get the particular clause, because I think the Constitution states very clearly that if you are a state officer, for you to be able to serve Kenyans,
yes,
and serve Kenyans in a neutral way, then it will be very difficult for you to serve Kenyans in that position. When you go out there and in a very open way, say that this is my position. I just want to give an example. Duale is a minister for health currently. So when he says he can easily engage in politics, it's automatic that he will be engaging in politics which relates to the Kenya Kwanza government, because that's the government he belongs to. So the rest of us who don't belong to that government, shall we believe that there is fairness, there is neutrality, there is transparency when he serves the rest of us? And I think that's why the law demands that when you join the civil service, I don't know whether maybe my colleagues will be commenting whether, I don't know whether ministers are state officers or public officers. Because state officers are people like us who are in politics. And by the fact that we are state officers, we can actually play politics. But when you join the public service, the mainstream public service, I think the law is very clear that you need to be neutral. So to me, I think even though the law may not be very clear that you don't engage in politics, but the fact that you hold that position, for you to be assessed by Kenyans to be neutral, I think then it means logically it should flow that you don't engage in active politics, and more so openly the way he wants to imply. Because a few of them have actually been named to be engaging in open politics. A few CSs, I think it was in the papers yesterday. And we are saying, really, if you want to get that serious to the political arena, then you resign and come. Duale was a member of parliament like us for 3 terms. If he thinks he still needs to play politics the same way he used to play, then he's in the wrong position.
Right.
That would be my interpretation.
And we had the issue of the technocrats before, even in the current administration. This also was a hot button issue in the previous regime as well, where they were roundly condemning the cabinet secretaries, and they were saying, you are technocrats, you're supposed to be apolitical.
Yes.
So where is the contravention really coming to play here?
Good evening, Debao.
Good evening, good to see you.
Good evening, viewers. It's been quite a while.
Yes.
It's been close to now a month since I was here, and I'm always very excited to come to this very interesting show that then we pick up, there's so many things that have happened within the period. On this aspect of Honorable Duale, Honorable Duale is a seasoned politician. We all know that.
Yes.
He's been a leader of majority in parliament and a well-versed individual in terms of the political space. Now, where is the line? Where do we draw this line of saying this is political, this is not political? Because we are all in an environment, we are operating in an environment of politics, that we have to always be able to expound the things that we do. In any case, Debao, sometimes, and Kenyans rate you many times as a leader, if you are able to articulate the issues that you're doing, and able to explain to Kenyans over and again. So where is this line that we say this is politics, this is not politics? In my view, I was trying to go through the conflict of interest bill, and just the act itself, actually, I'm just trying to scan. And most of the things that it talks about is it becomes conflict of interest when you are able to do things looking at you yourself as an individual, doing businesses as yourself, but not when you are articulating issues of government. So we are all trying to gag the leaders that we have in this country, the CSS. Please don't talk. The PSS don't talk, because when you do so, you become a politician. When a PS goes into a podium, explain what they are doing, what government is doing. We are serving a government that got into power because of politics. All right? So we are articulating issues. Where is this line of saying this is politics, this is not politics? I don't think this matter goes any too far than that.
But where is politics and where there is no politics? When we talk about the 1 term and the 2 terms, I mean, that is just very clearly, when you have a CS now talking about 2 term.
Was it in the process of explaining the things that the government is doing?
Isn't that...
we are still requesting you to give us an opportunity.
Where is it within your docket, you as a CS of health, to talk about one term? Right?
Because
it's not a health policy.
We have not been able to finish the work that you're doing. We've done some good work here. We're still in a...
That is politicking now. That is politicking.
It is a very thin line.
Let's hear from Dr. James Ikal.
You see,
good to see you.
If you have doubt about that, then we take this constitution and throw it out. One of the big things that was contested a lot when we were talking about the new constitution was the issue of cabinet secretaries and their position in politics. And that's why it was actually stated, that was a very important point, that it may be useful to have, it was determined that it's useful to have cabinet secretary, in particular, not to be in politics. Because before that, remember, they were elected and then appointed. So they were both politicians and in the executive. And it was felt that because of that, they were biased in their performance, that it would be difficult for them to leave the politics, which actually gets them into the position of being a member of parliament, and from then on, being appointed as a cabinet secretary. And therefore, we chose to say they will not be politicians, they will be state officers, although the word state officers will include even politicians, members of parliament, but they'll be the executive and they'll be doing executive work and not getting involved in politics. Even if I can't get the actual wordings in the Constitution, that is something that everybody knew. And as Honorable Makalia said, if you are appointed to be, the time you are appointed to be a cabinet secretary, you must relinquish your position as a member of parliament. Mm-hmm. If that were not so, why would we do it? Now, my friend is struggling. But in his heart, he knows, you know. In your heart, you know, when it is politics and when it is not politics. Mm-hmm. And really, if you are the executive and you are offering services to the public, if you really get involved in politics, it becomes very, very difficult. Mm-hmm. Because then you will say, you want to then serve the areas which, if you belong to a party and you recognize that party and you want to campaign for that party, even when you are doing work, the best thing to do for that your party is then to make sure that better services go to the areas that support you. And remember, we actually in this country, because we had a deputy president who kept on saying issue of shares, regions that didn't get this, and people felt that that was totally unacceptable, that if you're in a position that you are serving people, you serve everywhere. And that is the reason that you must now actually live out active politics. What does active politics do? Active politics, you are in the pursuit of power, and in our arrangement, you are in the pursuit of power in relation to a political party that you serve. Mm. So what I'm actually thinking, I think we should go further and not only say that they must not be politicians. Actually, we should put a time that if you have been in active politics for this period prior, you cannot be a cabinet secretary. I think that is where we should go, because these people that we pick...
So is Duale out of order?
In my view, principally, philosophically, morally.
Legally?
Even legally.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, even legally. The Constitution will say so. So that it is. And let me tell you, moral, philosophical, and social rights. If something is right morally, something is right socially, even if it is not stated in the law, it still has a force. Remember, what do laws do? What do constitutions do? We put down the ways in which we think we should govern ourselves. So the first thing that becomes important is justice in terms of the way we see ourselves as a society, even if it is not put in law. Sometimes you can actually have an unjust law. If, for example, you have a law which says, if you have a nose that is this long, and therefore you cannot do this job, that would be a law, but it would be legal, but it would be morally wrong, and you can't even implement it. So in my view, look at the services you offer. It should be possible for really the politicians to actually try and avoid politics, serve people. I don't know why they even want to actively go into start talking politics, to be known to be talking politics. In fact, even if they wanted to serve the parties that they belong to, because each person will belong to a party even if they don't express it, doing a good service, serving people equally across the board will actually do much more service to the government they serve, the party they serve, than going along. You see, now we are arguing as to whether they are doing the right thing. But if we were to say that Honorable Minister for the Cabinet Secretary for Health is actually doing such a good job. Look at what is done here. Look at what is done here. Which one will get his party more votes? Sometimes I think people don't even see or seem to realize what they are doing.
Yeah, because
now,
yes,
because he has said that, remember now people are arguing whether he should be or is doing the work of a Cabinet Secretary for Health properly, just because of what he has said.
Right.
Had he not said it, we would then be judging him on the job he is doing.
Yeah, okay. So let's, because if you look at the Constitution, Article 152, subsection 3, of course, we're talking about a cabinet secretary shall not be a member of parliament. That is very obvious. This separates them from active politics and parliamentary debates. All right. Article 77, subsection 2, under the chapter on leadership and integrity, any appointed state officer shall not hold office in a political party. And we've had many of them, of course, having now to not hold any political party or position there. Since cabinet secretaries are appointed state officers, as per Article 260, they cannot hold office or take an active role in political party affairs. So this really flies in the face of what Bernard, you're telling us, really, right? Let's continue. Leadership and Integrity Act 2012, Section 23, Section 1 reinforces this by stating, an appointed state officer shall not, in the performance of their duties, A, act as an agent for or further the interest of a political party or candidate in an election, or manifest support for or opposition to any political party or candidate in an election. So in short, our CAs are barred from engaging in active politics if going by this, of course, positions of the Constitution that we do have as it's being espoused here.
You are all
a member of the public actually gave us 152 and just reminded us that.
Yes, 152. Yes.
Debal, when you read Article 152 clearly, that is about what the cabinet consists of, you read 153, it still continues to spout the same.
I don't know where it's a copy of my Constitution as well. The hard copy.
Yeah. I mean, and then you try to bring in the Article 77,
yes,
and the other bit that you're trying to really try to push, you know, they have just said you should not belong to a political party, isn't it?
Yeah.
You should not be holding an active position in a political party. You should not be a member of parliament, all right? Because I think that was the reason why we had the constitution that tries to separate. But right now, even these cabinet secretaries appear before us because there was also a need that we have them come to parliament and, you know, come and answer to questions that members have gotten from, you know, when they're engaging with their
policy issues.
Correct. Now, when it comes to the aspect that you're trying to say that advance the issue of political parties in an election, you know, the problem is you do not want to really speak it well, that we are talking about in an aspect of an election. Are we in a campaign mode right now? No, we are not. What I still want to say, even my colleague, whom I deeply respect, by the way, the chairman of health here, has just mentioned that it's all moral. You know, it was also believed that actually the reason why we did want to have an MP as well as being an MP and being a cabinet secretary was basically to try and, you know, get people focused in what they were doing. But legally, there is no law. There is no law. It is all in the imagination, and a bit earlier also, Dr. here said that we need to drop this constitution. But you see, Dr. Nyekal, it's not captured anywhere.
It is captured in.
It's not captured. You've read it.
He has just read 152.
No.
Yeah.
152. What does it say?
What does it say?
Just read 152. What does it say? There's nothing it talks about.
Yeah, it's just what you call the cabinet. The cabinet consists of the president. I think the president shall nominate and, with approval of the National Assembly, appoint the cabinet secretaries. Yeah, cabinet shall not be a member of just what we've established
so
before
there.
Shall not be a member
of parliament. And I know this is a key clause separating cabinet secretaries from active politics, just what we've established.
So you are trying to now build on something that is not existent. It just says they should never be members of parliament. So you want to build on something that is not existing.
But what were the crafters of the Constitution, envisioning when they say they should not be members of parliament?
That is why you have
they
to imagine.
They should be apolitical.
That's what I'm saying. You are trying to imagine beyond that which is not existing here. All that we are saying is morally, as he says, in our imagination. And probably those who drafters of this constitution, what was the spirit of what maybe they thought about?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. The law.
It is not captured expressly here.
Let me answer that. Sometimes if something is not written, you actually look at the spirit and we answer what was the thinking of the people. The truth is, the three of us who are here were actually there when the constitution was being discussed. If today we want convenient to forget the reasons why we actually felt that cabinet secretaries in particular should not be in active politics, then again we are just saying we can't ask for the spirit of the law. Even in court, sometimes you go and you start arguing the spirit of the law. This is what is written, but what were the drafters of the Constitution saying? Luckily for us, the drafters are still there, and we were all there when these things were being discussed. And you can't put everything in law, but if you start from this simple fact, before this Constitution, they were actually active politicians who were elected, who campaigned, got into parliament. Then they appointed us cabinet secretary. They were called ministers at that time. And during the debate on this constitution, it was actually felt that interfered with how they were working. In somehow they became biased, and it was felt that it's necessary that they actually be purely in the executive and do that job. We went further and say, what really makes you practically very, very political, as a political state officer, let me put it that way, because we were talking about appointed and elected state officers. Now, these ones are appointed. Now, what makes the distinction is that if you are in an elected position, which makes you, by definition, a politician, then you relinquish that in order to become a cabinet secretary, an appointed state officer. Now, do we really need to now say you cannot go and wear a badge of a political party?
Duale, I've been trying to scan quickly through the Constitution. We do agree that there might be no specific clause which indicates that they cannot be doing politics. But I think if you look at what I would call the spirit of the Constitution, there are a number of very clear indicators to the fact that they should not participate in politics and open politics. Indicator number one is the fact that when you are appointed a cabinet secretary, even if you are a member of parliament, you must resign. And we have a number of them who resigned to join the cabinet, and we had to go for by-elections. So that's the first indicator, that if they were expected to do politics, they should have remained members of parliament and then become cabinet secretary. The second indicator, which is critical, is that once you are appointed, even before you come for vetting, if you are an official in a political party, which is a political animal, you must resign. And that resignation letter is part of the documents you present to confirm that you have resigned. Otherwise, if you don't, then you are not even vetted by parliament. The third indicator, which is critical, is that even no more, for everybody who is in this public service, you are not expected to use public service, either equipment in terms of vehicles, to go and do campaigns when official campaign period is announced. That means, as a public servant, there is a very clear expectation that then you should be able to be what we call a political. And that, I think, to ensure that there is neutrality. Because imagining you are really into politics, as some of them are pretending to be, obviously you cannot rule out biasness in the way you deliver your services to the public. And what we are forgetting is this gentlemen, the CSs, are fully paid by the taxpayers, Kenyan taxpayers. And every Kenyan who is a taxpayer, irrespective of which party they are aligned to, they are supposed to be served by the government of the day, which the top of that government is the cabinet. So I think really that's why the Constitution is very clear. It only exempts the president and the deputy president. The rest are not civil servants. They are not a politician. So even without going to the law, which could not be clear, I think if you look at that analogy, it will tell you that Syria as a cabinet secretary, if they want to be a politician,
yes,
they need to resign from the other side and go back and do what Duale was saying. He was saying he can resign and go back to Garissa, be re-elected, and come to parliament. And we would be very much willing to welcome him to parliament, so that we engage at that level. Otherwise, he's totally out of order, what he's doing.
Yes, otherwise the president will have just appointed him, as a cabinet secretary, as also the majority.
No, you're taking a position.
No, I'm just saying. Because, given what he is, I'm not taking a position.
But I would like...
Going by the spirit of the law, it makes
now
every leak of sense that you should resign and tender your resignation within your party as well, and also appear before the members of parliament for vetting, just as Mheshimiwa is saying. So I think that chapter now is closed.
Just before
or we wait for the
just before we close
for the courts.
I have a lot of respect for my seniors, by the way, and they are fantastic debaters. In fact, it's a great privilege to sit with them. But what I like about them is they're talking about the spirit of the Constitution, and the spirit can actually, you can have a different spirit of view. You can have a different spirit of view. Duale can have a different spirit of view. He has still acknowledged that there is a laguna, that it was not quite clear. Those terms that is mentioned, that he should not be a member of parliament, they are all captured here. And that is the reason why Duale is saying there is no law that denies me, I am, by law. So the whole point is, I think we still have some duty then as members of parliament to still go tighten that. We can bring in, an amendment or, some form of regulation, and we tighten it now further. So, and I think that closes the matter, as it were.
Let me agree with that if we want to insist that the spirit of the law, but even if you go and tighten it, the spirit of the law will still exist. But I'm actually seeing that we actually need to go look back and look and say that first of all, how far back have you been? You cannot actively come from active politics and go into that office. We should look at that. And even when you leave, how much should you then, how long should it take for you to go into active politics? It may look punitive, but the role that particularly cabinet secretaries hold is such that the execution of policies that literally help people, parties get into power, presidents get into power because they want to deliver, not to a particular group, but to the whole country. And the persons that actually hold that at highest is a cabinet secretary. If they cannot say, I'm doing this for the country, for everybody, regardless of their political position, political thinking, of the political situation, then we should guard that. And even if we have to tighten, we should.
All right.
I'm in agreement.
Okay, so let's see what the courts now will determine, now that we have Babu Owino and the Law Society of Kenya moving to the courts to challenge this. Let's see what will be the turnout of and determination of this particular scenario. So will we get a clear picture, make it very limpid for us to understand? It's been a long while. If there is a lacuna, then we need to plug it.
Yes.
And I think it is your decisive action to make sure maybe you also, once you're back on recess, I don't know if you can pick up on this, because I know also this will be such a linchpin issue as we're going to, the general election.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, I want to just maybe just to clear off before we settle down to party politics, and we come to Mheshimiwa Bwana Gituru, because you've been involved in this particular crafting of this